I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome. This is the 351st episode of the Political Spotlight. How are you doing? I'm having a good day. My voice is fluctuating, as you can hear. I apologize for that. It is what it is. It's just that time of year, folks. I'm sorry. We're going to try to get out as much as we can get out before it just completely goes on me. And we'll see what goes on. We've got a pretty big show packed with lots of great information for all of you. Thank you for tuning in and giving me a little bit of your time. I am, of course, your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is at the controls, making sure everything is working smoothly. We thank you for your time, giving us a little bit of your time. We know that it's valuable, so we want to give you as much information here that's relative to things that make your life better or entertaining or yada, yada, yada. You can find us at all of the places on the screen: YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. Now, I only put the crazy Facebook page, the Political Spotlight Facebook page. But for those that know, if you know, you know, if you go to facebook.com/Bilbrey318, then you know how to get that page too. It's like it unlocks a special adventure for you. So do that. Also push the boops and beep the bops and do the things that you're supposed to do. Help feed the algorithms and subscribe to the show. Share the show with everyone you know. And above all else, comment. Facebook sucks, Catherine. I enjoy being on Facebook. If you to Facebook, no one will see your comment. Wait a minute. That's got to not be Catherine. I don't think Catherine would be firing off like that. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. That's kind of crazy. All right. So here's the deal. I don't know if that's her or not. I just don't know if I believe it. All right. So here's the deal. First up, good evening there, Brenda. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we have done this. And so I need to take a moment because I'm getting a couple people that have asked. And it's like every so often, for those of you that have been here for a minute, you will know. For the rest of you, for most of you will know what these things are. But there are certain people out there that don't know. And it's just better to go ahead and quickly show you guys. So give me one moment, and I'm going to make a couple people happy by showing them what the hell's going on here. Give me 1 second. Okay. So for those of you that have been asking me what this thing is, I've shown you before, or I've shown before on the show. This is a tail. It is a tail. Okay, that's what it is. It's a tail. So for those of you that have said it looks like an animal sitting there, like a cat sitting there, you're right. It's like an animal tail. It's not real. So don't come after me, but it's just some kind of a tail. For the other ones that always wonder what this thing is over here, over my shoulder, right here, this thing in the background. We've went over this before, but just briefly, I'm going to show you. Headphones. Here we go. See what it is? It lets me hear from some distances away, FYI. So that's what that is. Now you know. I've had a couple people every so often. I didn't think it was. There we go. See that? So, okay. I got you, Catherine. That's fine. So, from every so often, I have people ask me what those are like the number one things. I've got so much junk up here. Nobody ever asks what any of this is except this little tail here and that thing over my shoulder. Catherine, as it stands right now, 98% I will be there. No, it's not a cigarette in my hand. Piece of paper. I can see you've not been here for a minute. Or I don't think you got on the other day. You know I don't smoke. What the hell's wrong with you? All right, folks. So here's the deal. Number one, here's the thing. We need to talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight. Then I'm going to tell you really quickly what's going on tomorrow. And then we're going to break today's happenings down for y'all. Okay. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on really two things. We're going to be focusing on the Delaware County Council meeting that took place today at 9 a.m. For those of you that are watching live, that's obviously Tuesday, December 17th. For those of you that are watching in the future, it was Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. and the meeting was at 9 a.m. Yep, that's it. Let's see. I'm telling you, I told you what those two things were. I told you. Leslie Cloud was one of those people that wanted to know what those things were. So we're going to focus on my commentary on today's Delaware County Council meeting, and I've got a good amount of material to cover with that. I'm also going to talk to you about the situation, the standoff with Mayor Dan, and I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to let you know that just a little bit ago, matter of fact, the reason I was a touch late tonight was I have been getting information coming into me literally, or even still right now, about Dustin Clark. So I am going to look at this information, and we're going to try to figure out what's going on. I'm telling you, this deal with Dan and the deal with Dustin and everything about Dustin Clark is weird. I don't understand what goes on there, but we are going to get to the bottom of it. All right. So that's what the main part of tonight's show is going to be about. Before we get there, I want to do two things. Number one, I do want to let everybody know about tomorrow's meeting in Madison County at 1 p.m. I am going to do my damnedest to be there. God willing, I will be there. If I can get there, I will be there. I fully believe that I will be able to. I have to go do I've got to go do the medicine thing for my grandfather at 10 a.m. and I don't think I have anything else pressing. I still have a meeting with another individual. If you're out there, you know, today got away from me and I was unable to meet, but I'm hoping that we can do it either Wednesday or Thursday. It depends on how long the Madison County meeting goes tomorrow. It really shouldn't go that long. It really should be a piece of cake. We ought to be able to walk in to Madison County election board meeting tomorrow, and they open it up, they listen to the evidence, and they make a ruling which makes sense. Now, I would hope that Russ will not be sitting on the board tomorrow. I hope he has someone else there. I hope he is present. He deserves to be there. Yeah, right, Catherine. It's black and white. Now, I am going to let you know tomorrow. I'm putting the invitation out here now, and if she responds, then we'll know. Tomorrow, we should have Catherine on. Yeah, Catherine, you want to come on tomorrow, and we can break down what happens in the meeting and talk about all of that, talk about everything else that's been going. My voice is really bad, guys. I'm sorry. It's just gotten worse here this evening. Man, I wish I knew if Dustin was lover one. It makes sense. It makes sense that he would be, but I don't have any hardened proof of that yet, but we will see. We will see. Yeah, I hope Anthony Emery is present tomorrow too. That will be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing if Emery was present. He needs to be. He should be. He's very much a part of this problem too. So, he absolutely should be. Yeah, right. Right. Here's the hourglass. It's called the Catherine glass. Right here, I got it right next to me. It's called the Catherine glass. number one, that's what's going on tomorrow with Madison County. 1:00 meeting. It will be live streaming. Catherine will be live streaming to her regular Facebook thing. We'll jump that feed because it's too hard for her. We set up a way for her to make it easy, but she just couldn't understand it. It was too difficult. So I'll jump the feed, and we'll also be streaming it here for those that want to watch at 1 p.m. So if you want to watch that, tune in and you can see it. We'll obviously be talking about tomorrow evening. The last thing I want to talk about before we get into today's meeting is this. This is the last thing that I want to cover here, just briefly. I want to show you guys this. Story. Tweety Bird asked about the drones. Were you here? Have you been here the last couple nights, Tweety? I don't feel like you have been. I feel like maybe you've been sick or dealing with something because I don't think you've been here. We talked about the drones a little bit the last couple of nights. And I've told anybody out there, if anybody has video, if anyone out there has video, pictures of the drones, send them to me. Get them to me. Let me know if you want me to use your name or if you want me to keep you private. Let me know. Tell me if you want me to give you credit, or, because I don't want to take credit from anybody. I will tell everyone, who took the pictures or videos, unless you want me to keep your name private. And then I will say these came from a source. So we can do that. With that being said, I do want to show you the very first pictures and video on the political spotlight of what looks like drones or a drone in the Muncie, Delaware County area. This footage was taken by me a short while ago, and I am standing in northern Muncie facing the south. I was facing south, a little cant to the southwest a little bit. Let's just say from Delta, I was facing toward Walnut and McGalliard, in that direction. And of course, like everything, this is video. This is going to be a very shitty shot. This is a cell phone. It did not look like this to me watching it. It looked much bigger, much more impressive. We are viewing this through a cell phone. And so they are what they are. Now, this is not a planet because it is multi different colors. It's by the naked eye, we could see that it was flashing the red and green. It was not an airplane because it remained in one area for over an hour, but it did move back. It moved left to right periodically, but it was in the air for over an hour in the direction that we watched it. There's the first picture. Here's the next picture. It's like, ooh, ah, wow. Basically the same thing. There it is from a much further distance. Okay. And here's the video
No, I would, but I was going to get my binoculars, but I don't want it too forward. Yeah, I can get out the board. No, I would, but I was going to get my binoculars, but I don't want it too forward.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, is this the New York drones? Is this some amateur? The only reason I would think that it's not necessarily an amateur is because this was up in the sky last night. Teresa. That's hilarious. Wow, Clinton, is that real? Dude, get some video of that. How, Joe? How do you keep someone in suspense? Oh, you idiot. Get out of here. That's funny. Everybody keep noticing Joe's joke of the night there, and wait for the answer. Ooh, look, I got to get rid of this logo. I just saw that was from earlier. Okay, so here's the video. Not very special. It is what it is. There's probably the clearest picture I got of it, and that's not a clear picture. It is what it is. So, if anybody gets better pictures than that, let me know. I think it would be wild to see. Not a lie, they bounced after some laser shenanigans. Yeah, I would be very interested in any kind of pictures of that anyone's able to get. Stargazing has been ruined. I don't know if I'm looking at a star or a satellite. Yeah, that's, I have always had a massive fascination with what goes on in the sky. I've always, greatly loved everything that goes on by looking at the night sky and looking at stars and all of that. Matter of fact, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on here, but we at one time I had a massive telescope that was able to help us look at some really amazing things. And I actually had a lens that was built for putting your phone to the lens and getting video of various objects. And matter of fact, let's see here. I'll show you here. These are pictures that I took of right here it is. Yeah, I'll show you. Wait till you see how big this telescope is. Look at this. Okay, yeah. So this is the kind of you can tell there was some debris on the on the lens, but I was just amazed that I was able to capture the moon this clearly, being an idiot. Like I was just like, this was just a massive hobby to me. It was like, I liked it, but I don't know anything about this stuff. Here was the thing that we used. It was really, really, really freaking cool. And so we were able to get some awesome pictures and videos of lots of different things. I would kill to be able to look at what's going on with these drones through this, because I don't even know. I think the drones would be too close to maybe even see them. I don't know that I would even be able to see them properly, because they would be I don't know. But so yeah, I'm definitely into all of that, but I can definitely hear what you're saying, that it would be hard to keep an eye in the sky, and you've got all this drone nonsense floating around. So that's that. Okay. Onward and upward to Delaware County and today's political hoopla, Delaware County government meeting. So today was the last Delaware County Council meeting of the year. And basically, normally these meetings are pretty benign. They go in, they hold a meeting, they do some very basic end of the year appropriations, transfers, moving a little bit of money around to make sure that folks can do what they need to do for the remaining 3 weeks of the year. Pretty simple. I want to start today's discussion off by actually backing up and looking at the end of the Delaware County Commissioners meeting, which occurred yesterday. So there was a Delaware County Commissioners meeting that occurred Monday, December 16th. And the meeting was 52 minutes in total. And lo and behold, the last meeting of the year, James King wasn't there. Amazing, right? Like, and listen, you can see the name tag here. You can see the name tag here. You can see her name tag, and you can see the name tag here. James' name tag is gone. And to me, what that means is when he left the last meeting, he took his name tag. He made there was no intentions. This man made no qualms about the fact that he was done. He was not coming back. And what blows my mind about this is every now and then I get this one specific troll, and it changes. It's never just any specific person. It's just like this one type of person who I don't know. They just don't like me, which, look, I'm not easy to like. I get it. I understand. I'm a hard person to like, specifically if you love some of these politicians and you really hold these people up to special light. You're not going to like the things that I say about them. I'm okay with that. The people I know, the people who like me, I'm the greatest person in the world. And the people that don't, I'm the devil. I get it. I understand. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you're right. Clinton, think how much that nonsense cost. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Anyways, so James wasn't there, which means James has, let's see, James has only, he's only been at 2 of the last 6 meetings. So out of the last 6 meetings, James King, as a paid elected county commissioner, he has only attended 2 of the last 6 meetings. Well, I had made this connection pretty early on Monday when I noticed he wasn't here. I was like, wait a minute. And I went back and I counted and I went back through the meetings and I watched. And because up until a couple weeks ago, he had only attended 1 meeting out of the last 4. And then he attended a meeting. So now there was 2 meetings out of the last 5. And then this meeting he didn't attend. So that's 2 meetings out of the last 6. And I made a post on social media that shared basically this picture showing that he wasn't there. And I posted this on Monday. I said, Delaware County Cowboy Kid Lame Duck Commissioner Lil Jimmy King says a big F-U to the citizens. Stay here, Ryan, because you're going to want to hear this. You're going to want to hear this in just a few minutes, so stay here. James King says a big F-U to the citizens of Delaware County by not attending the last meeting of his pathetic career in politics. Oh, but he's getting paid for today. That's what pisses me off. It's laughable. It's sad. It's grotesque. Hope the boot out the door stings long enough to help remind you that Delaware County politics isn't for you anymore. Good riddance, James. Then I shared the picture like I do. It's that, there it is. So this troll, we'll call him James the Troll. He gets on and he says, what's the reason he didn't show? I said, same reason he's only attended 2 of the last 6 commissioners meetings he had. Troll James says, and this is not James King, it's another James, says, and the reason is, ? I said, I would assume the reason is he got beat in May by a pretty good dude, and it hurt real bad. There is no reason or excuse. He's getting paid to be there. I said, this is common of the lamest of the ducks. It's kind of like, where in the hell's Biden at? That kind of thing, James. James comes back and says, so you don't know why he didn't show. Maybe he had a death in the family. A good reporter, that's his first mistake. A good reporter would find out the details before blasting them on Facebook, maybe. I said, I'm not a reporter, dude. I'm an effing citizen. I'm a citizen. Like, this guy's been watching me long enough. He knows that I don't consider myself a journalist. He's just taking shots. He said, oh, so what's this podcast thing you got going then? See how someone can assume something that may not be, just like you did about James in this post? I'm like, dude, so like, what are you saying? That you support the fact that King, to my knowledge, this guy doesn't even like James King. He's just pissing on me because he doesn't. That's the ignorance that I don't understand. Whatever. I said, strange that a death in the family would cause him to not attend the first meeting in October, but then allow him to attend the second meeting, then cause him to miss both meetings in November, then attend the first meeting in December, and then miss the last meeting in December. That's a pretty strange death. Look, if you want to troll me in my post to make lame-ass excuses for public servants doing half-assed jobs, by all means, have at it. But it's really rather ridiculous, and it makes you look lowly. I mean, you can't be of the mind that thinks it's good for him to be paid to attend these meetings that he isn't attending just because he got beat in May. There is no way that you can think that that is good. You just don't like me, so you're finding a reason to troll. It makes you look ridiculous. But hey, engagement's engagement, so troll on. He says, I'm not trolling you or making excuses for anyone. I don't know what's going on in the man's life, nor do you. Should he step down? Probably. I don't know him. No, he shouldn't step down. This is the last meeting. He didn't attend the last meeting. He's done, you idiot. So your stuff shows up on my feed. You're obviously looking for a response from your post since you aren't a reporter doing a job or anything, just a citizen, as you say. So now I'm a reporter. I'm a reporter, by God, because this guy says I'm a reporter. He's not going to take no for an answer. Question: if someone comments and agrees with you, does that make them a troll as well? I said, dude, you're not this dense. You're calling me a reporter to slam me for not being a good reporter. That's clearly what you're doing. Anyone can have a podcast. Like, that's ridiculous. I have a political podcast based on information that I get and my knowledge of politics on the local, state, and national level. I'm not a journalist, never claimed to be a journalist. I consider myself a political commentator, which is just a person giving commentary on politics. I've been intimately connected and involved in politics on the local, state, and national level since a very young age. My family was involved, thus I was too. It is something that I'm immensely fascinated with and I have an understanding about. I didn't assume anything about James King. I know him personally, as I do Dan and most of these local and state officials. I even know some of the national officials personally. But for folks that I don't know personally, I am able to use the knowledge of their public lives and actions to make informed and educated observations about what is or isn't going on. You may not know King or Dan, but that doesn't mean I don't. I said, matter of fact, I actually enjoy chatting with you, so continue your trolling. I think it's funny. It's just, I cannot stand people giving these people a pass when they constantly are doing wrong. All right. That now then takes me to this meeting. All right. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to what happens in this meeting. Okay. I'm going to try to get it up here to where we're at where we're at. Okay. Okay. Here we are. I want you to listen to this.
031.
Second. Roll call, please.
Reagan.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
King.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, ordinance number 2024-32, an ordinance transferring interest earned on the American Rescue Plan funds.
This is an ordinance concerning the interest on the, has been earned on the ARP money while it's been on deposit. I would ask commissioners to introduce this only. We're going to have to make some revisions because one of those things that Treasury has changed in the last 3-4 weeks is how this interest can be used. So we're going to have to make some big revisions to this particular this particular ordinance to create a separate fund And it's not gonna go into revenue recovery, it's gonna go into a separate fund according to the latest from Treasury, so we'll need to do this before the end of the year. So you can introduce it, we'll make some revisions to it, but it's not in the final form as of yet.
So moved.
Matt Cantz, Delaware County Council. I just want to stipulate that, our 2025 budget that was approved included, I'm not sure what the dollar amounts currently are in the ARP interest money. The approved amount, that we submitted included this interest money, for 2025. We spent, 50-something hours this year on increasing salaries. That was really what the leveling salaries, increasing salaries, and I think even in some cases, we didn't get to a lot of the employees that were leveled or see any dramatic increases. So I just want it to be known that this money has already been accounted for next year, and if you do take it away, then we're going to be up against what appears to be a revenue shortfall for 2025 as it stands today.
I made it clear in the budget meeting that we was gonna use this. I told you that,
Sure,
right?
but the ARP money,
I did. I told, did I not say that we was gonna use the interest in ARP in the
we
budget?
did,
meeting?
but
I did.
whose pocket are you taking it
Okay.
out of?
Make it clear.
Okay, but the only ones going to be suffering for that potentially are employees.
That's you guys. I told you guys we was gonna use it.
Right.
And I don't know why you're
But-
budgeting non-anticipated money anyway in a
The
budget.
money is not non-anticipated, it's already in there.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be next year, maybe the next. What are you gonna do
Okay.
then?
Just making it clear.
Well, I'm making it clear. That
Okay.
I said it in the budget meeting. You guys heard it.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks.
This is unimaginable, folks. All right, now let me back up here just a second. Delaware County, it never ceases to amaze me how I can have such a problem with Matt Cantz for a lot of the stupid shit that he does. Moreover, that he doesn't do. And then along comes Shannon Henry. And he's like, look at me. I can be a bigger asshole and make Matt Cantz look like the hero. Now, I got to give it to Matt. I'm going to give Matt an attaboy. I'm going to give Matt Cantz. If you're listening, when you hear this, when this is brought to your attention, Matt Cantz, that is how you are to govern every day of the rest of your term. What you did right there, how you approached that with Henry, and having the sack to be able to stand up there and do that. That, sir, is how you're supposed to govern. Now, honestly, I would have liked you to take it a little bit further and maybe push back against him and explain to him that while the ARP money is the commissioner's money, and you're free to do whatever you want with that, give that ARP money to as many of James King's cousins and brothers cousins and cousins, brothers, lovers that you want. But don't you dare touch a damn penny of the interest, because while the ARP money might belong under the commission, and I have a serious disagreement with that too. While the ARP money might belong to the commissioners, the interest does not. The interest needs to go to the council, to the general fund, or to some fund you set up for the council to use. And I give Mr. Cantz a round of applause for standing up and doing that. I give Cantz a round of applause for taking that to the commissioners and shoving it on them. Now, I know that many citizens won't even know that this occurred. Many citizens won't even know that this happened. What Shannon Henry just said there is akin to saying, because I told you so. He doesn't have that ability. Yeah, right. Yep. It don't matter. You know, I told you, listen, Henry's like putting this off on the council. It's the council's job to fund the government. They are the fiscal body. But the commissioners have done whatever the hell they wanted to do with the ARP money since word one. They've looked at that as being, it's, to me, it's been worse than the mayor's edit fund. I got to give it to Dan. At least in the city, they had a committee made up of many different people. And they did some things wrong with ARP that I don't like in the city. But for the most part, a massive committee of people dealt with those funds. Let me tell you how many people dealt with the county's funds. 2. 2 people dealt with all of that ARP money. James King and Shannon Henry. Now, my hope is that with Brand coming in, he will be able to pull back on the reins there a bit, and he'll be able to help the council out. But he's only one man. He's only one vote. He's going to have to beat Sherry down. The rumor is that Sherry told him not to make waves. Don't come in changing a bunch of stuff. Don't come in planning that you're going to come in and be doing a bunch of stuff. So to me, Sherry laid down where she stands. She stands for some unknown reason on Shannon's side. Well, I'm going to tell you, Sherry, that's the wrong side to stand on. This, I'm telling you, that's the same man who talked about how he's sick of transparency. Shannon Henry is always great for a sound bite, for a quick blurb, for a short. He is such a jackass. Well, that's kind of what he did there. That's his version. I got to give him a little bit of credit because he at least he went to do it. They could have just not said anything. I'm glad that he at least said that. I think if what I believe is going to happen, I believe the fight, DC, I believe the fight is coming. I believe this was just a preemptive, like, we're letting you know where we stand. We're letting you know what we did. A fight will be coming. We will be talking about this here real soon. It'll be after the first of the year. Might be into January, might be in February, might be March. But we will be talking about this because this fight will be a fight. Now, it'll be interesting to see where everybody falls on it. I don't know who will be in charge of the council next year. Some people believe it's going to be Cance. Some people believe it's going to be Jessica. I very much believe I could see Bookout coming in thinking that he's going to be the president. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Be interesting to see what happens with Brand being on the commissioners. Be interesting to see what happens with Bookout being on the council. It's just, this is very interesting. So this, I want to let you know, this is what happened yesterday. And I wanted people to see this. And matter of fact, I'm going to take this back just really briefly so we can get just a quick understanding. I want you guys to hear this. I just want you guys to hear this again. It's real quick. Here it is.
Can't Delaware County Council. I just want to stipulate that
Going to revenue recovery, it's going to go into.
Rescue plan funds.
Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
hey, thank you.
Okay, ordinance number 2024-32, an ordinance transferring interest earned on the American Rescue Plan funds.
This is an ordinance concerning the interest on the, has been earned on the ARP money while it's been on deposit. I would ask commissioners to introduce this only. We're going to have to make some revisions because One of those things that Treasury has changed in the last 3-4 weeks is how this interest can be used. So we're gonna have to make some big revisions to this particular this particular ordinance to create a separate fund. And it's not gonna go into revenue recovery, it's gonna go into a separate fund according to the latest from Treasury. So we'll need to do this before the end of the year. So you can introduce it, we'll make some revisions to it, but it's not in the final form as of yet.
So moved.
Matt can't still work.
This is nuts. So they want to steal off that interest. It's maddening to me that they feel like they're going to be able to just scoop this up.
County Council. I just want to stipulate that our 2025 budget that was approved included, I'm not sure what the dollar amounts currently are in the ARP interest money. The approved amount that we submitted included this interest money for 2025. We spent, 50 something hours this year on increasing salaries. That was really what the leveling salaries, increasing salaries. And I think even in some cases, we didn't get to a lot of the employees that were leveled or see any dramatic increases. So I just want to be known that this money has already been accounted for next year. And if you do take it away, then we're going to be up against what appears to be a revenue shortfall for 2025 as it stands today.
Now, keep in mind, everybody here are supposed to be working, number one, for the citizens of the county, working for the betterment of the county. And then number two, they're supposed to be working for their employees. In this next statement that you're going to hear from Shannon Henry, he doesn't give a damn about the county. He doesn't give a damn about the citizens. He doesn't give a damn about the employees.
Made it clear in the budget meeting that we was gonna use this. I told you that.
Sure.
Use it on what? Use it on what? Why do you feel like this is yours? Hey, Mr. Worthless ass attorney, why do you explain to your client why this is theirs? Explain to me why your client thinks that this is his money. Could you explain that? And how much money are we talking about here? That would be interesting to know. I'm going to file a records request and I'll find out.
Right?
But the ARP money,
I did. I told, did I not say that we was gonna use the interest in ARP in the
we
budget?
did,
meeting?
but
I did.
whose pocket are you taking
Okay.
it out of?
Make it clear.
Okay. But the only one's going to be suffering for that potentially are employees.
That's you guys. I told you guys we was gonna use it.
Right.
And I don't know why you're budgeting non-anticipated money anyway in a
The
budget.
money is not non-anticipated, it's already in there.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be next year, maybe the next. What are you gonna do
Okay.
then?
Just making it clear.
Well, I'm making it clear that
Okay.
I said it in the budget meeting. You guys heard it.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Listen, folks, these guys aren't like a Democrat and a Republican and a Democrat. These two idiots are of the same party. But let me tell you why that don't matter. That don't matter because Shannon Henry is now. Listen, King is gone, so the biggest dickhead head honcho is going to be Shannon. And he's going to be, he thinks he's the king of the roost. I think I'm going to start calling him Shannon King. I think we're going to change their name a little bit. I think we're going to start calling him Shannon King. And now that King's no longer there, it's Shannon that gets to say all of the most ignorant stuff. So, while King was there, it was him. King got to say all the stupid stuff. Now Shannon gets to say it all. So Shannon King, welcome. We have unlocked a new character for the show, and welcome. So, all right. From there, now we want to move from there on to the Delaware County Council meeting. Shannon Henry VIII. Oh, God. I love it. That's hilarious. Now, from there, we're going to move on to the Delaware County Council meeting, which happened today. And if you remember, if you watched last night's show, I had a couple worries about today's meeting. The worries that I had about today's meeting, I was afraid that there were some board appointments that were going to be screwed with. That was my big worry about today's council meeting. That basically, when the Redevelopment Commission board appointments came up and the council would have to vote for two redevelopment board appointments, that they would not replace the two that are currently on there, that they were going to appoint two new ones. And the reason that they were going to appoint two new ones is because Brad Bookout and Jessica Piper and a few other people don't like the fact that Amber and Rob Kiesling ask questions. They don't like the fact that that's a thorn in the side of a board that they routinely control. They want to shore it up with Brand coming in. They don't want Brand to have any kind of help there. So there have been some squawking going on behind the scenes. Pushing for the council to do away with Amber Green and Rob Kiesling. And the squawking behind the scenes wanted the council to nominate and vote on Jason Brooks from J. Crew. Has a contract with the county. His livelihood is dependent on, some pretty big contracts with the city and the county and lots of other places. Good for him. Great business. Just saying. They're pretty big. They have a pretty big contract with the county and the city. And then Carrie Weigerly, they wanted these people to replace Rob and Amber. Now, I did what I could do. I reached out to Bill Hughes and Jim Mokel because I knew last night, I told you guys last night that Whitehead was going to vote for, if you go back and watch the show last night, I told you last night that Eugene Whitehead was going to be voting for Carrie and Jason. He would not be voting for Amber and Rob. He was a hard no. I will not be voting for Amber and Rob. My question is, why? Why? Did he have a reason? Or was his hard no because of who asked him? Now, it's my belief that Jessica Piper went to him and or Brad Bookout, possibly. Maybe they both went to him. Maybe they both went to him together. Maybe they both talked to him separate times, multiple times. Maybe they talked to him once. But whatever the occasion was there, whoever talked to him, it was at least one of them, if not both of them, said, we do not want Amber and we do not want Rob. Now, as for Amber, I don't really know why they did not want her. I know that Jessica does not like Amber. She is not a fan of Amber's. She does not like Amber. She just does not like Amber. The reason that Brad wanted rid of Rob Kiesling was because Rob Kiesling dared to ask if there's anything funky, is there anything we should know about, anything we should be concerned about in a claim. Didn't even mention what it was. And what he was referring to was the fact that the county was paying John Brook money for going and holding a meeting with the FBI and the State Board of Accounts. Now, I am currently on the path to getting that information. I have filed a records request, and so I'm working on getting all of that pertinent information, and I'm going to reach out to my sources in the feds, and I'm going to reach out to my sources at the state government. I'm going to see what the hell's going on here. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But that's a really piss poor reason to not want Rob Kiesling. And so I was really concerned about this. Right, DC. What in the world? What in the world? Yeah. That's what I said last night. What is going on there? Why is that happening? That seems so strange. It made no sense. It really was very strange. It didn't make any sense. So I reached out to Hughes and I reached out to Jim Mokel because I knew or had a pretty strong belief that Ryan and Matt Kantz were voting for Amber and Kiesling. So those are 2 votes. All they needed was 2 more votes. They only needed 2 more votes. So I didn't care about Jessica. I thought she was a lost cause. I didn't care about Dan Flanagan. I really thought he was a lost cause because normally Flanagan and Whitehead will act as the knight in shining armor for Jessica. They'll ride to her rescue to help her, and they'll normally do whatever the highlighter queen asks them to. She wants a vote, whatever. She'll do it. Okay? Well, I reached out to William Hughes, Bill Hughes, and Jim Mokel. I reached out to William because I really respect Bill. I'm gaining a lot of respect for Bill. I think Bill is a great guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And I think that he is willing to listen to all sides. And I think that he's willing to actually give things thought. So I reached out to him and he responded very appropriately. And I reached out to Jim Mokel, and Jim has really disappointed me. I like Jim as a person, but he's really disappointed me on the council. But I reached out to him because I honestly think sometimes he's just lost up there. And to me, it's almost like I wanted to put those names in his head as being like the last thing he heard, because it's almost like, you know, he's just going to vote for, you know, whoever the last names were. So, you know, I reached out to those 2 guys. Well, we're going to listen to this meeting. Now, the meeting was nearly 2 hours long, and there are some definite important parts in this meeting that you guys should hear. There are lots of issues with the auditor's office still. That is still going on. The same crap that was going on last month is still going on this month. I had a position, and I'm not going to out these people, but I am going to tell everyone, yes, Kyle, you're absolutely, yeah, Bill is a hell of a guy. Absolutely agree. I'm going to tell you all this. I had a position today. I was in the position, mind you, rather, where, yep, 9 a.m., sir, Clinton, where I was around a bunch of Delaware County employees and Delaware County department heads. I'm not going to say who they were. what departments, what employees, but I didn't set in the public section of the meeting today. I did, matter of fact, I wasn't even in the room. And I was in a position where I was sitting and talking to these different people. And all meeting long, you know how I've come on here before and talked to you about how Ryan will be asking questions and people will be going, oh my God. Okay, I'm going to tell you who those people are. Those people are Emily Anderson, the court reporter who always battles Ryan. Those people are anybody from the auditor's office. Those people are people from the HR department, Pam McCammon and her lady, and those people. And those people are people that are connected to the commissioner's office. Most of those department heads love that Ryan does what he does, that he asks what he asks, and that he keeps them accountable. And I'm going to tell you today, I, for the very first time, heard how many of Delaware County's workforce, their department heads, the employees, how they feel about Ed, how they feel about the nonsense that goes on, and how they feel let down by 6 members of their council that won't bother to man and woman up and to do the right damn thing. They feel like Ryan is there on their side. And I can tell you the mood today was rather somber. They realized that today was the end of that. And it was interesting what they had to say, and listening to problem after problem. We got another problem where, an employee just gets paid double. They just get paid double of what they normally get paid. And let's just let them keep it and keep on paying. And, there were people in there. They were cussing up and down the people that was around me. They're like, what is this? I wish I was in a position where I could get paid double and they would just let me keep it and not have to take it back. And that crap is insane. Absolutely insane. So there are important parts of this meeting, and I would highly recommend you guys going and watching. I attended the meeting today, and I attended the meeting for a couple of reasons. I wanted to talk to the council about incoming Brad Bookout, and I wanted to be there because generally at the end of a council meeting, where it's the last meeting of the year and there are outgoing members of the council, or if a councilor's retiring, resigning, moving, leaving, whatever, if a council member is leaving and will not be back, generally what happens is either at the beginning of the meeting or at the end of the meeting, they allow the president allows the council members to go around and say some good words about the outgoing people or the outgoing person. Then they might allow citizens, or they might allow the department heads to say some good words about him if they so inclined, him or her. And then they'll present that outgoing person or outgoing people with a plaque, and maybe it's $25, maybe it's $30. It is what it is. I'm not big into the whole patting people on the back and whatever, but I'm okay with, at the end of the term, them going through the little deal. All right. I'm even okay with them spending a little bit of money to buy a plaque. And that is what they do. And I've seen happen everywhere for nearly every outgoing member. And I'll be honest, I went to this meeting today because I wanted to speak out about my concerns about Bookout. And number 2, I was pretty concerned that this council would just end the meeting like normal and not say a damn thing to Ryan. I was really concerned about that. And so I wanted to go there to speak on Ryan's behalf and to thank him from many, many, many Delaware County citizens and from myself included. And so I'm going to play these parts for you, but I'm going to tell you something that I'm extremely disappointed about. Okay. So first, I want you guys to hear the vote for the Redevelopment Commission. Okay. I want you guys to hear this.
The summer for tax abatements going forward, and
I was just gonna say, I will share since Rob had bullet points for Matt, both
served a couple years on the tax abatement committee, not our.
The current serving member typically would continue to serve if they want to until the vacancy is filled or they're replaced.
okay.
Now, they had several different boards they were replacing. And I want to say for the record, as this is something I'm really disappointed about, Ryan has done a damn good job of telling these people, I do not want to just come up here and not have anyone from the public apply to any of these boards. There's a lot of boards and commissions and meetings that they need a lot of citizens for. But systematically, what they've done for years is just, we don't tell anybody, and we just systematically replace the people with themselves. We just reappoint them, and we just keep on rolling, and everybody's in the right place, and everybody knows their role, and it's just one big thing that we just continue doing. And Ryan said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't think we should do that. I think that we should get a list of all of the boards and meetings and commissions that we appoint for, and I think that we need to make it known to the public at large. And I think that we need to advertise for a long time in advance for people of the community. Hey, in November, December, January, we're going to start appointing boards. We need you to come in and put your name in. And listen, at the end of the day, it makes sense to reappoint some of the old people to some of the positions. It's okay to have experience on some of these boards. It makes sense. But not every single one, every single board all the way down. That's just ludicrous. It's good to move things around. It's also okay to take somebody who served for 4 or 5 years on one board and maybe don't reappoint them to that board, maybe reappoint them to another board and move people around. But get in fresh blood, fresh ideas, younger people, new people, members of the community, get them in, get them involved. This is the building blocks of how we get people involved to wanting to run for office. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, they complained that not many applied. I'm going to tell you why.
And there's the problem, Christopher.
Yeah.
If you get more people involved, more people run for office.
That's the problem. Absolutely. Yep. That's what they don't like. Absolutely. So let me tell you, last year, Ryan was able to fight this fight a little bit longer and made a bigger stink about this. And you know what they did? They got a whole host of people that applied, and they were able to put a lot of new faces in. That's part of the reason why Amber got put on the Redevelopment Commission. They put all these people in. So then this year, them knowing that Ryan was on his way out, all they got to do is wait him out. All they got to do is wait him out. How many people remember, and if you don't remember, it's okay, I'm going to tell you, and you can go back and listen for it if you want to hear it yourself. Ryan asked, and has been asking about this probably since about September, October. He's been asking the council as a body Jessica specifically, like, what are we doing about this? Are we making this stuff known? Are we putting this out there? I want to get this information out. We need to let people know. Jessica told him, I have a graphic that I'm going to put up on the website. I have a graphic that we can put up on social medias. She said that like in October, said that in November. Never put the damn graphic up. She never did a damn thing with it. So this year, as opposed to last year, nobody applied. Very few people put in for it. Ironically, though, 2 people did apply to the Redevelopment Commission extra than the other 2. So a total of 4 people for 2 spaces. That's ironic. That's really ironic. So Jessica and her sycophants on the council and elsewhere have not wanted to replace people on boards forever. But now all of a sudden they want to replace Rob Kiesling and Amber Green. So it's like Jessica flip-flopped. So Ryan's like, okay, I'll flip-flop. I'll say, no, we need to keep them on. So they didn't have a lot of people apply because Jessica was the gatekeeper of that information and she would not put that information out. And that's bullshit on Jessica's part. Now, we're getting ready to hear this vote come up for the Redevelopment Commission, and they're going to talk about 4 people: Rob Kiesling, Amber Green, Jason Brooks, and Carrie Wiggerly. Amber Green, I think, is the only person who was in attendance. She speaks. A couple of the other people have things to point. Now, what's interesting is Rob Kiesling wasn't there, but he gave his bullet points to Matt. And because Matt did that, Jessica felt like she needed to quickly speak up. I'm going to tell you, I believe that Jessica Piper had every intention of voting for Carrie Wiggerly and Jason Brooks when she walked into today's meeting. She thought that Flanagan was going to vote like that. She thought that Eugene was going to vote like that. She thought that she was going to vote like that. And then she just needed one more person. Bill Hughes, maybe Kantz, I don't know. I think she knew where Kantz and Webb stood. So she was hoping that she would have Mokel, Flanagan, and Whitehead. And she could have taken Amber out and she could have taken Rob out. Okay. So now watch what happens here.
Certainly are under no obligation, but you can fill one seat now if you wish and fill the other one in.
All right, so let's do the resident. I'll entertain a motion to retain Patricia as our resident member of the Housing Authority.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call please on the resident.
Mr. Flanagan.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Kantz.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Now, ironically, every one of these votes was 7-all. Every vote was 7-all.
Okay, moving on to the Property Tax Assessment Board, the PTABOA. We have to choose one Democrat. This is a politically balanced board. And talking to James Carmichael, this board reports with him. He'd like to see people who have real estate experience, just because they're going over the property tax assessments if someone has a challenge. We did have a Republican put their name in the hat, but since it's a representative on that board, Republican. We have Rob Kiesling, who's also Republican and is as a Democrat. He's currently serving on that board as our representative. And we have Carrie Wiggerly, who put his representative on that board.
Okay, here we are.
Brooks, who's a Republican. We have Amber Green, Brooks, who's a Republican.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Here we go.
Mokel.
Yes.
Mr. Webb. Yes. Wyatt. Yes. Mr. Cantz.
Yes.
Ms. Piper.
All right, great. Moving on to the redevelopment commission, we get to choose two. This is not a politically balanced board. We had 4 candidates come before us. You have Jason Brooks, who's a Republican. You have Amber Green, who is currently serving as our representative on that board. Republican. We have Rob Kiesling, who's also Republican and is currently serving on that board as our representative. And we have Kerry Weggerly, who put his name in as a Democrat. So on this particular vote, we get to choose 2. So I guess on this one, we'll do a roll call and just list your 2.
Real quick before we do that.
Yeah.
Are we giving people opportunity to speak who are
If
here?
they're here, if they'd like to.
'Cause I believe
Okay, Amber's here. Amber, would you like to speak? Okay, okay, sure.
You all know me, Amber Green. First, I'd like to thank you for the appointment for this year. We did conclude our last meeting for the year almost 2 weeks ago. It will be 2 weeks ago Thursday. I would like to continue to serve on this board. It's been an interesting experience to say the least. I have come to every meeting prepared. In my personal opinion, we don't really get the packet with much advance notice, but I do make sure to print out every packet. I read every single thing, upwards of 150 to 200 pages, depending on the meeting. And there are a couple projects that we did get to see completed this year, but there are a couple projects that are going into 2025 that I would like to see completed too. So I would appreciate your vote to reappoint me. Thank you.
I got a few bullet points. Rob Kiesling can't be here. He's in, in Michigan.
For work.
For work. Rob works for Indiana Michigan Power. He's served 2 years on the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission already. He's also served a couple years on the Tax Abatement Committee. Not ours, I don't think. 4 years on the Yorktown Redevelopment Committee. He's got other economic development boards that he's part of, including DAC and the Jay County Development Corp. He's an MBA graduate of Oklahoma University's Economic Development Institute. So Rob has been serving us well.
I'd like to make a quick comment if I could.
Yeah.
So, for me personally, when we make our appointments, one of the main things that I generally don't like reappointing people to the same boards. I like people to move on to different areas, and it's a little bit frustrating that we've got such lack of interest in these board committee seats this year. I think some of that was probably limited to the fact that we didn't really share these on social media like we have in the past. So hopefully in the future we can make sure we do that and we can get better participation.
Why is that allowed to happen, Jessica? Why are you not sharing this? Why is this not just something that happens every year? This is disgusting.
Patient amongst people, so we actually have people to choose from in a lot of the seats. But I wanted to say, if any of you have watched any of those redevelopment commission meetings, a lot of money passes through there. That's not just a basic board. There's a lot of projects that go on through there. In my opinion, we have to be a somewhat of a checks and balances to the commissioners. This is the commissioners and their economic development team pretty much run this board. And for me, when I make my appointment, my vote is to people who are going to ask questions and kind of slow things down a little bit. And let's get some answers. And if you've watched any of the meetings in the past year, the Muncie Redevelopment Commission, our 2 current appointments that this council appointed last year, which is Amber Green and Rob Kiesling, are pretty much the only 2 who's asking questions on a consistent basis. Now, obviously other members do ask questions, but those 2 ask questions consistently. And like my old boss used to say when I would ask him why you ask so many questions, because that's where the answers are, right? We've got to have people there who are asking questions. So I give my full endorsement for our current 2 board members, and that's where I'm going to vote.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I will share since Rob had bullet points for Matt. Both Carrie and Jason have served on this board previously. Jason is a local business owner with J. Crew in Brooklawn, and actively.
And he's on the Yorktown School Board.
Yep, and is a big cheerleader for the community. Did a lot for the Yorktown community and through Delaware County. Carrie Weggerly has obviously, I didn't say obviously, I did say they all served, but he previously served on this board as well, and he's a realtor in the community. So those are those two individuals. I think most of us know all four of these folks who are applying.
So I do have a quick statement too. I agree wholeheartedly with Ryan relative to this board. It is the commissioner's, economic development arm. They do approve a ton of money, with very little, oversight other than this committee. So I do think it's vitally important that, that our representatives be a voice that, that helps with that process and ask questions. I went to a handful of meetings this year. I do agree that Amber particularly has done a really excellent job of being prepared and asking hard questions when appropriate. Rob to some degree the same. He's done a good job relative to that. Eugene brought in these conflict of interest packets. It did remind me, J. Crew is actually a preferred, I think, a vendor of the DCRC. So there is, a little bit of potential conflict with that. Not that it matters, but
Mowing contracts.
it should be, it should be identified. So
I have another question, a potential conflict of interest, and this is just a point of information. Being an elected school board member and serving on this board, is there any conflict with that?
It wouldn't be a conflict of interest. The only potential problem would be if it were considered holding two lucrative offices, but it's my understanding that the county redevelopment commissioners are not paid, so it would not be an issue to serve on both a school board and as a commissioner.
I'll confirm that. When I served on the redevelopment commission, you didn't get paid, so it was not considered lucrative.
Most of these boards, almost everything does not get paid for the extra work that you go into for these. But I think, Ryan, it's encouraging for me to hear you state that you see value of people staying on a board longer than 1 year.
Well, that is fair, and I do think
Loss of
I'm
knowledge.
evolving.
Yeah.
I'm evolving.
I meant to make.
I think that's very disingenuous of her to say that, because it's not that he's like saying, "Oh, Jessica, you've been right forever. Oh, I should have bowed before you." It's just saying, like, look, I see what you're doing here, and so no, you're an idiot, but I'm not going to let you get away with what you're attempting to do here. Checkmate.
That point too is, at least in Amber's case, and even Rob's to some degree, and having served here only a year initially, it's a whirlwind the first year, and it's really when you start to hit the ground running in year two that I think that there's going to be some value there too. So
Yeah. There you go, Ryan. I appreciate you evolving. All right, so we'll go, we'll do roll call and just choose your two.
Mr. Flanagan. Rob Peasley. Let's just stay with the current one since we'll give Amber another year to screw it up or fix it.
Very encouraging.
She thinks everything is funny. It makes me sick. I cannot tolerate that woman. Let me tell you this. That vote right there threw me because I really thought that Dan was a vote for Jessica. At that point, I think Jessica thought, yeah, she's got a very Kamala type of a laugh. Yeah. Just it's inappropriate and put in very weird places where she's uncomfortable. And I think she's trying to make everyone else uncomfortable. It's just very strange. I think that's the reason the laugh was there, because she's uncomfortable with the fact that, we didn't apply enough pressure to Flandanigan. All right. So moving on, that's one vote for the Green Kiesling team.
Mr. Mokel. Amber Green, Rob Kiesling.
I don't it's only Flanagan and Whitehead that are her real hardcore knights, you know, on shining armor. But I think she expects Mokel to go along with it too. So now Mokel has flipped the script. So that's 2 votes for the Kiesling Green team. Okay.
Mr. Webb, Amber Green and Rob Kiesling.
Uh-oh, there's 3.
Mr. Whitehead, Harry Wiggerly and Jason Brooks.
There you go, Whitehead. Whitehead's sticking to the plan. Now, you tell me on a board that does not ever vote 5-2, 4-3. The vote is always 7-0 or 6-1, and Ryan's always that odd man out. Whitehead is never the odd man out. Ever, never, 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 never. All of a sudden, he's decided, like, what? So that lets you know there was a plan behind the scenes, what was going on. Everybody knows it. That's what's happening. All right. So what we've got here is we've got Flanagan, Mokel, and Webb have voted for Rob and Amber. We've got Whitehead, who's voted for the new guys. All right. So that's 4 people, 1-3. All right. We've got Hughes, Kantz, and Jessica. Now, Jessica sitting there knows that Kantz is going to vote for Amber and Kiesling. So she knows she's done. So she's just waiting to see what Hughes is going to do. But she's already making her exit stage left plan. She's realizing, hey, I'm not going to be sitting out here, you know, on this odd man out thing with Whitehead. So she throws him under the bus. Listen to this.
Mr. Pence. Green and Kiesling.
It's done.
Piper.
Welcome, Green and Kiesling.
Rob and Amber. All right. Congratulations, Amber. You stick
We
around.
didn't hear Hughes, but Hughes voted for Rob and Amber. So that vote went 6-1. I was very, very, very shocked. I was very shocked that that's what happened there. I was very amazed, and I'm so happy that that's how that went. The council voted the right way. I guarantee you that Bradley Bookout's pissed. I love when we send him a message. You know, you might feel like you're the big man on campus, but you're just a little piddly nobody. We can still get shit done around you. Okay. All right. Before we wrap up here, I want you guys to hear this.
Any other department heads? We got Jamie.
Mr. Bain.
Yep. You're right about her
Jamie
smile.
Bain, Health Department Administrator.
This is Jamie
Mr.
Bain.
Webb, am I correct? This is your final
It is,
council meeting?
yes, sir.
My opportunity to speak during department head, so I wanted to throw something out. I hope I'm not stealing anybody's thunder. I want to thank you. Anybody that knows, Ryan and I have not always seen eye to eye, to the point that there was probably a time where if we had met in a dark alley, only one of us would have came out, it would have been me. Ryan, you've won my respect over your course of serving as a council member. I say that at the risk of stepping in, you know, some of the opinions you shared. We've not always agreed. You've been very polarizing. But as a citizen of Delaware County, I've respected the fact that you've asked the questions that need asked for years. I attended these meetings and questions that I sat hoping would be asked, did not get asked. And you've held department heads accountable. You've held departments overall accountable. I know that's not popular. It hasn't been popular among a lot of departments in the county, but I would challenge those department heads to look at things through the eyes of a citizen and see that that's all necessary. You've challenged me many times to explain decisions we've made, spending that we have, budgeting much more than what goes on in these meetings that people realize. And that's held me accountable, and I appreciate that. Just wanted to offer that.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right, Ed?
Well, Jamie did steal my thunder. I'd agree with Jamie on most of what he said there, so we appreciate all your time and effort. A lot of your input. We did take it constructively and take it back and look at things, so it didn't go unnoticed. Didn't always agree on things. Quite often we did, but that's all right. I did want to say last meeting, I wasn't able to attend. I apologize for that.
So that was a really weird thing that Ed did there. I mean, because, you know, Ed does not like Ryan. He hates Ryan. I don't know that he hates him. I shouldn't say that. He does not like him. He does not like him as a Republican. He does not like him as a council person. And he was just, you know, he's just going through the motions, you know. And then now he's taking some time to talk about last meeting, not attending last meeting.
All these meetings. I think it's my role and responsibility. I couldn't attend because of my wife's medical condition. I had to attend that doctor's meeting, and Tanya stepped in. I want to thank her for standing up here for 5 hours plus and take whatever's thrown at her. So I thank you for doing that. That's your job. I think we work well together, and we do what we have to support each other. And yesterday morning, there was a commissioner meeting, and the council leadership did come in. This is a contract that I appreciate them showing up and requesting the commissioners to sign an agreement. What we're trying to do is import the data that this council approved concerning the job classifications. There's almost 5,000 fields of data to enter. And I know a lot of you departments have received their request for the PI forms to be updated. And you can imagine how much time that takes for your department. We have to redo all that stuff manually for our office for the entire county.
Okay.
So imagine how much time that takes, and that's it's being hit with us with the job classification requirement. So that's the reason we're trying to figure out a way to import this data, because we've already got data and it's been looked at to make sure it's all correct in a spreadsheet. So it's in a database, but to re-enter it would just be very time consuming.
Come on, Ed.
Just dramatically go up. So trying to figure out a way to import that data so we don't have to go through that process. So with that, I appreciate the council this year and appreciate us being your secretary for all these meetings, and going to next year, if there's anything we can do for you, we look forward to it.
Thank you. Carrie, do you mind looking to see if anyone signed up for public comment? In the meantime, I see we do have public here. Are you wishing to speak, Chris? Come on up.
I'm the only one on thing.
Oh, are you? Yeah. Okay.
And thank you too, Ben. No problem. Okay, my name is Kristopher Bilbrey, and number one, I just want to say I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are excited that today is Mr. Webb's last council meeting. And I want to echo the health department's words, Mr. Jamie Bain's words about Ryan. I've not always agreed with things that Ryan has said or done, but I have to hand it to him that he has asked questions that need to be asked so often. And I don't understand why or when this started, but in governments, not just here, but all over the state and elsewhere, we get into this thought that it's a popularity contest and we don't want people to be mad. And so many council members, and I've heard it here from people in meetings and behind the scenes, they've said that they've not wanted to address things in the meetings. We'll do this in an email. We'll do this behind the scenes because it doesn't necessarily play out well, or we don't want to make someone look bad. And that's the exact antithesis of what you guys are supposed to be doing. 99% of what you need to be doing needs to be done in these meetings. The public needs to know. It doesn't matter if you know what's going on. Ryan, contrary to popular opinion, Ryan is not dumb. He's not an idiot. He doesn't ask these questions because he doesn't know what's going on. He asks the questions because that's his job. That's all of your jobs. And I'm really, really, really concerned that starting in January, starting in the months that follow, that these meetings to probably a lot of people's happiness are going to be shortened because a lot of questions are not going to be asked. And I task you guys, all of you, to take from him and question the hard questions. It's not a popularity contest. It's not about being liked by these people here. It's about being responsible to the citizens that have hired you to do the hard job, to do the things that are not popular. And the last thing that I want to say is, even in this meeting, there's been a couple things that's been brought up about conflicts of interest, and when you were going through the board's appointments. A lot of times, we the public look at what goes on here, and I want you to understand that the law is the floor, not the ceiling. So what is just good enough, what's just barely good enough to be okay, it might be all right, it might not be a conflict. That's just barely okay, and that's not okay with us. We expect more from you. We expect higher than the floor. So I know that you have a member that's going to be coming in January. I am deeply concerned because of some contracts that gentleman has with the council. I'm going to wrap up in just 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
I know that there are
ran
some
out.
contracts that the new council member has, and I really hope that you guys address this. And we might get people say, well, it's okay. I'm just letting you know from the public standpoint, it looks concerning. And I understand that there was a free and fair election, and I understand that this person won, and that's wonderful. But I'm not sure that everyone that went to vote knows that this person has these contracts. So I hope that you guys address this. I hope that you talk about it. I hope that that's openly communicated, and you let us know what you're going to do to make sure that there are no conflicts there with his actions and whatever goes forward. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you to all of you, and Merry Christmas.
Yes, indeed, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, comments from council.
Well, Ryan, nobody had more interaction. Jane and I, and I'll miss you.
I
Right
enjoyed
or
serving
wrong,
with you.
Arguments and non-arguments and agreements.
It's been a ride. Has been.
An overused phrase, but thank you for your service.
Thank you. I enjoyed serving with you as a council member and with you my first.
Okay. So the council. Yeah, she is absolutely fake. It's disgusting. So Flanagan said something. Hughes is saying something. All right. So that's Flanagan and Hughes. That's two.
I think your first 2 years as council attorney. Thank you so much. Well, if I could say real quick, you know, it's been
Now Ryan is speaking. So Flanagan and Hughes, and now Ryan is going to do his talk.
years, they went by pretty fast. And when I got started with this, I was never in politics. I was just a guy who sat at home, had a family, read the newspaper. And I got tired of seeing the same 12, 15 names moving from one position to the next. And I told my wife, I got a crazy idea. I'm gonna run. And she thought I was crazy, and we ended up winning. And here we are. And I came in during COVID, so they didn't have any school or class for new incoming elected officials. They canceled that year. So I come in, and it was, you know, feet in the fire and learning as you go. And fortunately, there were some good veteran council members here. I'd come in, they changed my mind. I thought that we needed a lot of new vision on the council. But I quickly learned it's important to have some people who have a little bit of history there. Ron Quakenbush, been around for a long time. He would say things that, you know, remind us of the things that we needed to be following. Mary Chambers didn't speak a lot, but when she did, you know, she had a lot of knowledge as well. I sit next to Miss Jane Lassiter, and I sit next to Ryan, and they kind of coached me along the way as we went through things. And I served with Scott and Jessica at the beginning as well. And I really enjoyed serving with all of the council members. And I enjoyed serving with all these new council members. Jim is my neighbor, so I've known him before. Mr. Flanagan and obviously Mr. Cantz. Um, Eugene's been wonderful, and I've appreciated serving with every one of you. Some of the comments have been made about asking questions. When I was running for office, I sit out there, much like Mr. Brand sits out there now. He's been elected. He's coming in. But before I was elected, I'd come to these meetings, and I didn't know what the hell anybody was talking about. They were talking about things I didn't know what it was. And Ron Quakenbush would always speak up, and I knew he knew the answer, but he would speak up and say things to remind people out there like me who didn't know what we're talking about. And I made a mental note and I said, if I'm ever fortunate enough to sit in that seat, I'm going to take that lesson and I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to repeat things and I'm going to slow down things so the people watching at home and the people sitting out here understand what we understand. Because it's easy for us to just go through these motions because we understand it and lose sight of the fact that not everybody does, and we need to slow it down a little bit. So I learned that lesson from Ron. So that's the majority of why I would always ask questions. Not all the time I knew the answer already, but many of the times I already knew the answer. But it was mostly to get it on the record and to give you department heads an opportunity to justify on the record why you were either asking for what you're asking for or spending what you were spending. So it wasn't always to be adversarial. A lot of times it was an opportunity to give you to make your case. And I know many of you understand that. But when I came in, my goal was to serve a term. I had no interest in being a career politician. I think we should all take stock of that. Everybody, it's great to serve a term, maybe 2 terms. But after that, I think it's good, important we got a lot of good people out there who could get involved. So hopefully, we keep a good turnover of people coming in and out. And I'm sure the people who are in these chairs this year, may be in different chairs in future years. And that's always not a bad thing. So I'm sure next year's council will be in good hands and I look forward to seeing how things are done. But what I wanted to do was disrupt the business as usual politics in Delaware County. I feel like I've done that. I feel like I've disrupted the rubber stamping. And my goal was to be the most transparent and accessible elected official in the entire state of Indiana. And I think I've done that as well. I think anyone who you would speak to knows I've answered every email. I've answered every phone call. I speak to everyone in the grocery store when they approach me. And I challenge everyone to continue to push yourself to be the most successful as you can be. And one last thing I want to say. I've had the luxury of having the newspaper hold us accountable. Mr. Bilbrey with his podcast, he holds us accountable. I know a lot of us don't always like what he has to say about us, but he holds us accountable. I've had some pretty good critics of myself that hold me accountable to things that I say and do. With the loss of our local newspaper, I know we still have it, but they don't cover what we do anymore. And it's a statistically proven fact that when the newspapers go away in small towns and cities, that local government corruption goes up. Okay, so I want everyone to continue holding each other accountable. You guys need to continue holding our elected officials accountable. And we as elected officials need to practice pure accountability and hold each other accountable. And don't be afraid to speak up if someone's in the wrong. Just because we all belong to the same party, or maybe we don't belong to the same party. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. But I think that's important to do. And I want to say that it's been my greatest honor to sit up here and serve with each and every one of you and to serve all of you out there. And I thank all of you.
Do you have anyone else from council? Well, I also want to thank you, Ryan. Like, I think it's probably been the sentiment of everyone. We have had moments where we disagree, which is normal, but I will say Ryan's a lot of fun outside of council. He's a very funny, fun person to be around. We've had a lot of laughs, and then those really long budget meetings, when we get slap happy, you can always count on Ryan to be one of the silly ones. So I appreciate the moments where you can lighten things up. So thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm Ryan's biggest critic, as it is. We talk frequently enough compared to probably most, and so he knows that I like to bust his chops about some of his statements, positioning, demeanor, attitude, all those things. But I will miss him also and appreciate his service to this county council and paving the way for asking a lot of questions.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, so we have our. is that the last of-
Ooh, wow. Mokel didn't say anything about him. And Eugene didn't say anything about him. There's no love lost between Eugene and Ryan for whatever reason. Eugene's a twit, and Mokel, I'm not even sure Mokel knew he was there today. All right, so that's the end of the meeting. They have a reorganizational meeting on, let's see here.
Reorganization meeting is Thursday, January 2nd at 9 a.m.
Thursday, January 2nd at 9 a.m. They have their reorganizational meeting. That's when they're going to get together and vote to see who the new council president will be, yada, yada, yada. And then they have their regularly scheduled meeting on Tuesday.
a.m. back in here. And then our next regular meeting is Tuesday, January 28th at 9.
Tuesday the 28th. So that's the end of the meeting. I want to say this. I am absolutely disgusted that they would not have chipped in and bought that man a plaque. I think that is just so classless. They bought one for Scott Alexander. They're going to, you better bet your ass when Jessica takes her last council meeting, she's going to have a plaque. They're going to buy each other plaques. That is gross. They just didn't care. I'm telling you, if they could have got by without saying something to Ryan, they would have. But they just, Jamie screwed them. Jamie Bain said something and then forced them to have to do this thing. I think how they did this really is just very low class, and shame on them. Shame on them for how they did this. Ryan did a very good thing for our county for 4 years. I don't give a shit what his personal opinion is. I don't give a shit about how he makes people feel outside of wherever. Stand up and fight. You don't like something someone says, you got an opinion, stand up and fight. No, I'm not asking anybody to like my opinions. My opinions are my opinions. You like them, you don't. Argue against them, speak out against me, whatever. To each their own. I do not have a right to demand how you feel, to demand to dictate how you feel about me. I don't have that right. Neither does anybody else. Ryan, in my opinion, gets judged on what he did as a counselor. And in my opinion, he was the top number one counselor that we had on Delaware County Council for the last 4 years. No one else holds a candle. And it's going to be absolutely horrifying to know what bullshit is just going to flow right on by that no one's going to know. Because listen, I have sources in county government. I don't have as many sources in county government, not like I do the city. So that's going to be a touchy thing. I don't know. It'll be real interesting. Hey, lastly, the very, 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 very last thing that I want to say. This thing is insane to me. This last thing that I have to mention, and it's my standoff with the city of Muncie. All right. I sent out an email today. 7th email was sent out today to Mayor Dan. It was sent out to Mayor Dan. It was sent out to Ridenour's private email for the city. It was sent out to Amber Green and sent out to Kate. And it says, question day 7, sent 12/17/24 from K. Bilbrey. Mayor Ridenour, I have a few questions I'm trying to get answers to. Subject 1, is Dustin Clark working as a contract employee for the city of Muncie? If he is, how long has he been working in that position? And again, if he is, I would like a copy of his contract. Subject 2, is the Muncie Crisis Center open? If so, when did it open? If it is not, when will it be opening? Subject 3, will you be holding a Dream with Dan again anytime soon? Subject 4, can you point me in the direction of where your future road paving plans are? Or moreover, can you tell me when paving or road repairs will begin on East McGalliard from the bypass to Broadway? Thank you in advance for your quick response to these questions. That was the 7th email that I've sent him in the last 7 days. I will continue sending him emails every day that he does not answer, every day that he does not comply with my record request. He will get an email. I will drive them crazy, or I will drive them to answering the questions. That's the only two options we have. Dan needs to respond. It is his duty. It is his obligation. In talking about the questions that I have, I made a post at about 3:15 this morning. This is the last thing I'm going to end on. I made a post at 3:15 this morning on social media. This is that post. I know it's going to be hard for you to see it, but it's on my Facebook. I'll read it to you. You can get the gist of it. 18 hours ago, it was 4:06. 12/17/24. I've been asking Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour for nearly a month what the status of this facility has been. And during that time, Mayor Ridenour has refused to say a word. Now, at 3:50 a.m. on Tuesday, December 17th, I just happened to see this post from a Muncie business from back on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. The post details how Mayor Dan's Crisis Center was opening the next day, which should have been Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. Well, Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 was 13 days ago. 13 days without a word from Mayor Ridenour. Strange. I asked him as recently as Monday morning, December 16th. I asked him every day last week the same 3 questions pertaining to the Crisis Center. Is the Muncie Crisis Center open? If so, when did it open? If not, when will it be opening? And for whatever reason, Ridenour has never answered any of those very simple questions. It's absolutely obscene at this point, folks. He needs to answer these damn questions. Matter of fact, I will send him an email today, Tuesday, December 17th, asking those same questions again. What is even more bizarre is the fact that the city did not hold any kind of ribbon cutting ceremony. They made no social media posts about the opening. They never even released a press release. I received their press releases and nothing was ever sent, so I would be aware. Nothing in the Star Press or on Indiana Public Radio or WLBC about the opening. The only thing I have seen has been this post from a nearby business. So now here is the new question. Why? Why the secrecy? I mean, besides the fact that this is just how Dan does nearly everything, but why would this be so hush-hush? This was supposed to be a big deal for Dan, so what's up? Only time will tell. And then I shared the post. And the post is from the Common Market. And the post from the Common Market, which is just catty corner from the Crisis Center, and the Common Market is ran by a man who is very close to Dan, talks to him, he's in his mayor's wheelhouse, talks to him all the time, said the following: we got a chance to tour the new Crisis Center today. I don't believe they're lying about that. I do not believe that the common market is lying. I believe that they actually were permitted to walk through the building. Okay, so I believe that. Tomorrow they will begin seeing patients. That's a weird statement to make if that's a lie. He must have got that from someone. Tomorrow they will begin seeing patients. Tomorrow, when it's December 3rd, tomorrow's December 4th. Okay. According to them today, this is not a place that will dispense medication or be a full medical center. This is an option for helping folks get the help they need instead of incarceration, if possible. We wish them luck. We all know the problems are real and all over Muncie. All right. There were several people that responded to my post, and I shared it a bunch of different places. And a lot of other people have shared it now as well. Someone says, evidently people in crisis can wait until spring when the heating costs go down. Someone else said, ask Meridian, as they are the ones who operate the location. The city was one of the funders of the building, nothing to do with operations. All right, that makes sense. David Spall says, you've reached your quota of questions this year. You are now reduced to patting them on the back and telling them how cool they are to regenerate your questions for next year. That's funny. Darla Barber says, there was a mom begging for someone to take her son to a rehab the other night on a community page. He had OD'd several times and was ready to go to rehab, but she had no transportation. I thought of this place and I wondered if they would help this young man, if they were open, if they seriously want to help the community. I still don't understand what exactly they're going to do there. It sure does cost the taxpayers a lot of money, and it's very late opening. Meanwhile, people are dying. All right. Then I posted this today at 1:15. So FYI, I just got back from a trip to the crisis center. I figured, hey, I'll walk my fat ass in the door. I'm going to ask them some questions, find out what the hell's going on. So I drove there today to the Muncie Crisis Center today. Today, meaning if you're watching this in the future, I drove there at about 1 o'clock on Tuesday, December 17th. And as of 1:15 on Tuesday, December 17th, I can tell you the crisis center is not open, and it has not been open. And you can see that by looking at the following pictures. Here's the picture of the place today. It was completely abandoned. I was the only car in the lot. Nobody was there. There were no lights on, nothing. Okay. Here's the next picture. Oh, okay. That was picture number 1. Okay. Here's picture number 2. This shows from up there, showing you that there's no cars back there. I was originally parked up here. Now I'm parked over here. So I'm showing you there are no cars in the parking lot. Okay. Here shows you another shot of the parking lot, the building. Nothing. Here's a panorama view showing you, again, nothing. All right. Here's me walking up to the building. Okay. You can see there's some notes on the door here. Here's me getting closer to the building. It's got a realtor box on here and some notes. Here's the realtor master lock deal. The door was locked. There, you could not get in. I shook that and I didn't even hear a key in it. So I don't know what's going on. Here are sorry we missed you from the UPS. 3 of them. So there's that. And then lastly, here's me sticking my camera up to the building, showing you that there are no lights on. and my phone died literally at this camera shot because I was going to walk around the building and get all of the windows. I did that, and there's still a lot of things in there that looks like it needs to be moved around. Like, I'll put it to you this way. I was there today. They couldn't just go there tomorrow, unlock the door, and go in and start treating people. There's still stuff that needs done inside. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know what these cats are playing at. I don't know why Ridenour can't answer any type of questions at all, period, about shit, about nothing, ever, anytime, ever. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know about the lights, man. I have no idea. So there's that. Just want to let everybody know. No crisis center. And we're still up in arms and up in a lot of details unknown about the Delaware County situation. So that's going to do it for me. That's going to do it for this show. Thank you all very, very, very much. I do want to let you know I'm getting information coming in about Dustin. Literally, as we've been speaking tonight, I've been getting more and more text messages. There is some stuff on Dustin that's coming soon. So stay connected. The best way to do that, obviously, is by connecting with us on social media, connecting with us on all the socials. There's the way to contact us on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. You can also hit me up on the studio line or email me there. Get a hold of us. You can email Kate or I at that email account. So please consider doing that. Also, if you wouldn't mind to give us a like before you leave and do all those things, that would be heavenly. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Got Board of Works meetings tomorrow. We've got the Madison County Election Board meeting tomorrow. It will be live streamed right here at 1 p.m., so look out for that. And then we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, episode 352. Catherine will be with us, and we'll be talking about all the craziness from that meeting. So tune in. It will be a joy. God bless you, each and every one of you. Have a great Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night. Goodbye.